Shalom Aleichem. And Felice and Louis, please. Well, I want to compliment all of you stalwart and hardy souls for coming in the rain. Yeah, right there. And it's page 120. Yes. Oh. Terkichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlikneh shel Shabbat. Okay, good job. And we continue on page 138 with Lecha Dodi. How about let's do da 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 da. Do you know that one? Oh, no. What's the other one then you do? Yeah, what's that other one? Okay, that's fine. That's great. Nekabla, nekabla, lecha dodi, likrat kala bene, Shabbat, nekabla, shamor vezachor, vedibur echad, ishmianu el hameyuchad. Adonai echad, u'shamo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'li tehila. Lecha dosi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla. It's always good to have a new tune every once in a while. So we turn to page 142 for Shalom Aleichem in our nice old familiar tune. I don't know any other Shalom Aleichem tunes. I don't think there is. And as a matter of fact, if you go to Shabbat in Singapore or Australia or Russia or Italy, you will find the same tune. It is an age-old tune. I wonder how old. I don't know. I could research that and find out. And but it's the same everywhere. Every single place uses this tune. So everybody has your extra. Okay, very good. Okay. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimenu, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי העליון. ממלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Shalom Aleichem, and to all our friends as well. Welcome, angels on high. Come and join us at our Shabbat table. Share our cup of joy. Join our singing, let your spirit soar with us. Together we will rise tonight. When we're fellowship and love abound, and love and peace are filling our hearts. I'd like to invite our president up to regale us with the latest news.
Yeah, on the bottom, right? And everybody, if you come up here and it's not on, it's right at the bottom, it says push, and then the green light goes on. What do they think of next? What I don't know is why it always drops when. Anyway, good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbat.
And what a joy and surprise it is to see so many out here on such a rainy night. You are all very brave. Please make sure you drive carefully on the way home. And welcome to Shabbat Services at Temple Beth Emet of Burbank. Services are conducted by Rabbi Janet Bieber with accompaniment by our music director, Robin Kreisberg. Excuse me, sorry. Not that I forgot it, just stumbling. It's been one of those days. Next Friday, November 21st, we will have a booth at Holiday in the Park on Magnolia from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. and there will be no services here that evening. Now, I looked at 5 different weather forecasts for next Friday. They all say there's a chance of rain.
Oh.
Some say there's more of a chance, some say less of a chance. But we already paid for the spot and we're gonna have an easy up, so we're gonna be there. So we hope you will be too.
I'll be there.
Well, to Noah, yeah. There's a song. Diane knows the song because they taught it in Sunday school.
What, the Noah song?
The Noah song. Yeah.
Give out your glory, glory.
As the water comes up fire and iron.
Well, Magnolia drains pretty good, so we'll be all right. Now, Hanukkah in the Foothills is not our program, but we do go and we participate, and Rabbi Bieber participates. It will be on Thursday, December 18th at 4:30 p.m. And the following night, we will be celebrating Hanukkah here. And the next day, Saturday, December 20th, is Marley's bat mitzvah. How about
Oh my goodness gracious.
that? And the family's invited everyone. So it's gonna be a busy weekend, won't it? But it'll be
I'll
great.
say.
It'll be fantastic. Marley's is December 20. Okay,
And 19th on the.
here.
Here.
Unless we decide to
Yeah.
combine them. I don't know.
Oh, you mean have the Friday and Saturday together? We
Yeah.
could do that.
Since
Well,
we have,
since we're having the Saturday,
Pardon?
since we're having the Saturday, do
Yeah.
you want to have the Friday and
What do you
Saturday?
guys think? I just thought about them this afternoon. Do we want to be here Friday night and Saturday morning? Or do you want to just come Saturday morning and that'll count as Shabbat for everyone?
No, well, no,
Let's still be on.
the 18th will be in the foothills,
Be in the
but
foothills.
I think that's a darn good idea to have it together.
Like on Saturday. We'll talk about it. We got a little bit of time. We got
Yeah.
almost a month to figure it out.
But I think that anyway, that means more people will come Saturday and then we won't split and Oh, Marley is gonna get all the,
Martin's gonna get all the honor.
oh, yes.
It's not gonna be any slight to the Shabbat that weekend. No, we're gonna do the whole 9 yards. Oh,
Of December or, yes. Oh, well, Louis, you should come on Marley's bat mitzvah. Yeah, the Marley's over there. If you want to go say hi, she'd love to meet you.
Oh, my goodness.
my birthday's soon. Marley, your birthday is December 18th. What a wonderful birthday. It's the best birthday in the world. It's my birthday as well.
Oh, my goodness.
How
What a
about that?
coincidence.
Well, let's finish announcements so we can get
Yes,
back to.
please,
Shall we?
please.
Remember, you can sponsor an Onik Shabbat or a Saturday bagel brunch to honor a special occasion or person. Remember to designate Temple Beth Emin of Burbank with your Ralph's Community Rewards Program. And we are still collecting non-perishable food for local food pantries, Burbank Temporary Aid. Everybody knows what's been happening with SNAP benefits and who knows when they're going to get back to normal. So the food shelters have been doing double duty. If you have a little extra, please bring it down or drop it off at Burbank Temporary Aid. They're right on Burbank and Mariposa. And I think what they say in the mornings they're there in the mornings to collect. Yeah. And I mean, there's always need, but right now there's extra need. So we will do what we can. Now, did I forget? I can't see how I could have forgotten it. But we got it. We talked about everything. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos. And we continue on page 146. And I invite Marley up to open the ark, and we're all going to rise. Who rises for the Baruch Hu, the call to prayer. Hey, good to see you. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. And we continue on page 152 with the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. And Marley will close the ark so we can be seated, and then she's going to lead us in the Be'ahavta on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווה היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם. בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשכבך, ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני
אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. You. And now we have our prayer for infinite abundance. You all have, thanks to Jen, you all have a copy of it. Let's read it together. Of all that is good and pleasurable and satisfying and fulfilling, we wish infinite abundance of food to all that are hungry. We wish infinite love to all that have been neglected and passed over. We wish infinite healing to all with broken hearts. We all have brokenness within our hearts. We are taught that the broken places in our hearts are where the light can get in to show us how to be better. The neglect we have experienced has certainly taught us to take notice of everyone around, to see them and remember their names, to notice their special gifts that they bring to our table, to build little bridges that connect us all to each other in our common humanness. Some people pass on their personal hurt to others as a matter of course, thinking, there is someone that I'm more powerful than. I can easily pass on disdain and disapproval, showing my superiority and somehow elevating myself. That does not make the world better, only much worse by passing on misery to be recycled onto someone else. Infinite abundance means that there's enough love, joy, sustenance, and place to live comfortably for all. Please God, may it be so. Blessings and gratitude are good starting places. Centering on love and joy are good beginnings. Remembering the good, acknowledging all the abundance that actually is there for us, seeing the glass not only half full, but flowing over with resources and largesse, abundant spaces to run free, to breathe fresh, clean air, to be seen as good, to be judged fairly, to be acknowledged as God's creation. Remember, although you are mere dust and ashes, it is for your sake that the world was created. Please, God, help us to find the place of equanimity from where we can all gain entry to our best selves. Amen. We continue on page 158 with Mi Chamocha. Yai bye bye bim bam ya bye bim bam. Yai bye bim bam ya bye bim bam. Yai bye ya bye bim bam. Yai bye ya bye bim bam. Mi kamocha bailim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar bakodesh. Nora tehilo to tefele, Nora tehilo to tefele. Yai bye bim bam, ya bye bim bam. Yai bye bim bam, ya bye bim bam. Yai bye bim bam, ya bye bim bam. Yababai by Bim Bam Mahalefutecha Rau Vanecha Bokea Yam Lipne Moshe Umiriam Elianu Be'amru Adonai Imloch Leolam Vaed Yai bye bim bim bam, ya bye bim bam. Yai bye bim bam, ya bye bim bam. Yai bye bim bam, ya bye bim bam. Ya bye bim bam. ונאמר כי פד אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Amen. And on page 162, we have Vishamru. Vishamru. It tells us the rules for observing the Sabbath. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת דורותם ברית עולם. כי בששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. And don't forget to vayinafash, to renew your soul on the Sabbath, because we get our extra soul, our neshama yetera. Let's try that. Neshama yetera. Neshama means soul, also breath. Okay, it's the same word. And linshom, to breathe, but also neshama, soul. So vayinafash is to renew your soul, which we do on the Sabbath. And it's our moment now to briefly describe something that you might want to share with the congregation during the last week. Does anybody want to share something? Not necessary, but if there's something you want to share, please do. Yes, Tracy, and then Diane. Yeah. Oh,
But yeah, I was focused, but I never thought it could go or various places. And after they do
is this person? Oh, all right. And the show was Annie, of course. Oh, oh, isn't that beautiful? The sun'll come out tomorrow. Oh, and she sang that? Oh, oh, wow. Isn't that great? Okay. Thank you. Yes, Diane.
I got my driver's license. And we were in and out of the meeting within half an hour.
Unheard of.
They started it now?
Amazing.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, but the fact that you made the appointment made all the difference, I'm sure. And you're fantastic. Great. Marley, did you want to say something? No? Perry? No. Barbara?
That's something.
Oh, oh, goodness. Fantastic. Yes. Yeah.
And never been there. You know, carrots or something. They had it in all of crucifixion and resurrection.
Right.
But it was very inclusive, and it was very fun to see our students and other groups that were there too.
Yes, May? Okay, that's on Sunday. In Pasadena. Yes. Okay. Yes, Marlene? Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay, well, I didn't repeat it today. Yes, okay. Okay, that's a good suggestion, Marlene. So in the future, those of you at home, I will be repeating at least the gist of what people are saying. Okay, so sorry you missed it today, but one of the things is that Mark was in a concert last week, and it was quite wonderful. And it was a barbershop quartet that he's in, also another a cappella group that he also sang in. And then there was a very professional male barbershop group. What were their names?
Speakeasy.
Yeah, Speakeasy. They were fabulous, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're competitors. And one guy had a mustache that wouldn't quit. Oh my goodness. He said he uses tons of mustache wax on it. Okay. You wouldn't imagine there's a big market for that, but there you go. Okay, so you know what? How about let's see. I think we have Ufros Alenu Sukat Shelomecha. Did we discover it on page 160? It is part of the Hashkivenu prayer. Yes, it is. Ufros Alenu Sukat Shelomecha. It's the third line in both the Hebrew and the transliteration, and it means spread over us a sukkah of peace. Do you know that? If not, Vicky's here with her guitar. Okay. So, and the other words are lai, 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 lai. Okay. Ufros alenu. Yeah, I thought you did know. Yeah.
But Vicky had the three.
Yeah. So it's the third line in the transliteration, 4 words. So Louis, do you see that? You see where it is on page 160, the third line? Ufros alenu sukat shelomecha. Spread over us a sukkah of your peace. What do you need to find it? You know it. Isn't it just A minor, E minor? Okay. Bambi's ready. Uferos alenu sukat sukat shlomecha uferos alenu sukat sukat shlomecha lai lai la lai la lai la lai la lai la lai la 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 lai lai la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai lai la 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 lai. Okay, and you can put your books aside for a moment as we take time to consider our Torah portion this week, which has a beautiful name. I bet you even understand what I'm going to say. Chaye Sarah, the life of Sarah. And it's kind of interesting, you know, the way the Torah is, because everything, prayers, but also Torah portions are named for the first 2 important words that occur. And the first 2 words of the Torah portion are Chaye Sarah, the days of Sarah, or the life of Sarah. She lived 127 years, it says, and then she died. And that's all we hear about Sarah, the whole Torah portion. Is that hilarious? Okay, but never mind. There's a lot more interesting stories in this Torah portion, just not about Sarah. So Sarah was Abraham's constant companion throughout their journeys. And she is gone at, how old was she? Exactly right. And Abraham was 10 years older. How old was he? Exactly. Good math. That's good math. Not hard to do, of course. We see him mourn Sarah's death, and then he moves into action. He engages in an elaborate negotiation to buy a plot of land where he will bury Sarah. As the narrative makes clear, this is not a simple task. He confesses to the local people, the Hittites, that he is, quote, an immigrant and residing among you. Meaning that he knows that he has no real right to buy land. Imagine they didn't let immigrants buy land. That sounds a little familiar. You know, that's actually true in Germany. Also in Germany, you never become a German citizen, never. If you go there, you have a different status. They never accept you as a German citizen unless you have ancestry that goes back and can prove it. And that's the way it is. They make no apologies. Okay. So the Hittites, they don't want to sell him the land. They say, oh, Abraham, you're entitled. We think we respect you. We think you're a great guy, and we want to gift you that you can bury Sarah in our graveyard. And he politely but firmly declines. And he says, no, I would like to have my own plot of land to bury Sarah. And he offers an enormous sum, 400 shekels of silver, which is a lot at that time. And he makes that on purpose so they can't say no. And so he purchases the cave of Machpelah, which is to this day, actually, there's a building built over it now, but it's where Abraham and Sarah are buried. Also, Isaac, Rebecca, and Jacob and Leah are also buried there. Rachel didn't get buried there because she died when they were on the road. So she was buried on the road, and that location is still known today. It's called Kever Rachel, which means the grave of Rachel. And you can go there and visit that place today. Where's the cave of Machpelah? Hebron. Yeah. So the purchase of the cave of Machpelah is evidently a very significant event because it is recorded in great detail and in highly legal terminology, not just here in our parsha, but 3 more times in Genesis, each time with the same formality. Here, for example, is Jacob on his deathbed, and he is speaking to his sons, and he's telling them, bury me with my fathers in the cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite. We even know the man who owned the land that he bought it from, Ephron the Hittite. The cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre in Canaan. And Mamre is the terebinths of Mamre. Terebinth is kind of a fancy word for a stand of trees. And it's a very holy stand of trees because it's where the female god was worshipped, the famous Hebrew goddess. There's a book called The Hebrew Goddess. Does anybody know about that? It's written by an Orthodox rabbi. His name is Raphael Patai, and it includes things you wouldn't believe. Okay, we think that Judaism was somehow hatched the way we do it, but it was not. It was evolved over many thousands of years. And one of the things that was true was that there was a Hebrew goddess that was worshipped, and always in a stand of trees outdoors. The male god was worshipped in the temple. If you think about it, the terebinth, right, the trees, is more like a male sort of a figure, right? I won't be more explicit than that. And the temple is more like a female figure, right? Covered, hidden, and so on. The male god is worshipped in the female place, and the female god worshipped in the male place. That was in order to illustrate and demonstrate the not just equality of the male and female entities, but the fact that they were intertwined and that you couldn't have one without the other. In the old temple in Jerusalem, all was well in the minds of the Hebrews and the Israelis when they were called that. When the male and female God would reside above the Ark of the Covenant between the 2 cherubim, in that space between the cherubim, in union. Okay? And that was the idea of true peace. Okay. Not hatched. Okay, why does the Torah tell us each time exactly where the field is and who Abraham bought it from? Immediately after the story of the land purchase, the text tells us that Abraham was old, 137, that qualifies. And God blessed Abraham with everything. This sounds like the end of a life, not the preface to the very beginning of a brand new chapter in Abraham's life. Abraham launches into new projects, this time to find a suitable wife for his son Isaac. Isaac is approximately 37 years old. Abraham instructs his most trusted servant, Eliezer, to go, quote, to my native land and to my birthplace to find the appropriate woman. He wants Isaac to have a wife who will share his faith and share his way of life. Abraham does not stipulate that this woman should come from his own family, but it seems to be an assumption that actually comes true. In the same way that the purchasing of the field is told, the story of finding Rebekah for Isaac is described in more detail than almost anywhere else in the Torah. Every conversation is recorded, almost opposite of the story of the binding of Isaac, remember, from a few years before, 1 or 2 years, where almost everything which you would want to know, what were Abraham's thoughts, what were Isaac's thoughts, and what were Isaac's feelings? Nothing. They were left unsaid. Here in Rebekah's story, however, it's all laid out clearly. Throughout the story of Abraham and Sarah, God promises them 2 things: children and a land. Yet when Sarah dies, Abraham has not a single inch of land that he can call his own. And he has only one child who will continue the covenant, Isaac, who is currently unmarried. Neither promise has been fulfilled. This explains the extraordinary detail of the 2 main stories in Chaye Sarah, the life of Sarah, the purchase of the land, and the finding of a wife for Isaac. The Torah slows down the speed of the story as it speeds up the action so that we will not miss the main point of all the detail. God promises, but we have to act. God promised Abraham the land, but he had to first buy the field. God promised Abraham many descendants, but Abraham had to ensure that his son was married and to a woman who would share the life of the covenant so that Abraham would have, as we like to say today, Jewish grandchildren. Despite all the promises, God does not and will not do it alone. By self-limitation, that's, remember, tzimtzum, God creates the space for human freedom. God gives us responsibility, and only by exercising it do we reach our full stature as human beings. God saved Noah from the flood, but Noah had to make the ark. God gave the land of Israel to the people of Israel, but we had to fight the battles in order to get the land. God gives us strength to act, but we must do the deeds ourselves. What changes the world, what fulfills our destiny, is not only what God does for us, but what we do for God to manifest God's vision of what needs to become real in this world. That is what leaders understand, and it is what made Abraham the first Jewish leader. Leaders take responsibility for creating the conditions that allow God's purposes to be fulfilled. They are not passive, but active, even in old age. Like Abraham in this week's Parsha, in the chapter immediately following the story of finding a wife for Isaac, to our amazing surprise, we see that Abraham marries again. And he married a woman named Keturah and had, what? 8 more children. after the age of 137. And Keturah is purported to be none other than Hagar. Remember Hagar? Right. So Hagar, just for those who don't remember, was the mother of Ishmael and was the handmaid of Sarah, who was given to Abraham when Sarah couldn't conceive a baby. Okay. Okay. Whatever else this tells us, and there are many interpretations, the most likely being that it explains how Abraham became the father of many nations. It certainly conveys the point that Abraham stayed young, the way Moses stayed young. Quote from Deuteronomy, Moses' eyes were undimmed and his natural energy unabated. Unquote. Though action takes energy, it also gives us energy. The contrast between Noah, for instance, in his old age and Abraham in his could not be greater. Though maybe the most important point of this parsha is that the large promises, a land, countless children, become real through small beginnings. Leaders begin with an envisioned future, but they also know that there is a long journey between here and there. We can only reach it one act at a time, one day at a time. There is no miraculous shortcut, and if there were, it wouldn't help. The use of a shortcut would end like Jonah's gourd. Remember that? Which grew overnight, then died in one day. Abraham acquired only a single field and had just one son who would carry on the covenant, yet he did not complain, and he died serene and satisfied because he had begun the journey, because he had left future generations something to build on. All great change is the work of more than one generation, and none of us will live to see the full fruit of our endeavors. The task of a leader is to see the destination, begin the journey, and leave behind them the ones who will continue it. That is enough to endow any life, even our own, with immortality. Amen. We got the stories, right? That is a lot of good stories right there. 137? No, he had 8 children after that, so it had to be at least 7 more years, right? So, but you know what? It's also well, that's true. He might have had twins, but not septuplets. I don't think so. I don't believe there were any septuplets. Well, there was Ishmael, but Ishmael did not carry on the covenant. Only Isaac did. Isaac. Ishmael is purported to be the father of the Arabic nations. Yes. We don't even know their names. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, and I don't know if anyone does. We could research it. I'm sure there's some sort of text that goes into conjecturing about it, but I doubt if we have any conclusive proof. There just wasn't any proof about things of that nature. Anyway, we continue our service with the healing prayer, the prayer for the healing on page 371. And we are going to open the ark. And first, we'd like to say all the people that need healing today. So, yes. And Anna Mannheimer. Margaret Rose. Yes, we all hope Margaret feels much better very, very soon. Margaret, if you're listening. Okay, yeah. Tony Dempster, yes, Diane. Liz Espero, okay. Barbara? Okay, Lloyd Nesbitt and George McGurso. Jen? Stuart Tuchny, Tracy? Arlene and Mike Rossich. Anyone else? Yeah? Okay. Okay, and he needs some healing. Okay, anybody on this side? Okay, and I'd like to add Batsheva, Bat Ruchalea Moshe, Shlomo Simcha ben Batsheva Chayamabo, and Mendel Felix ben Chayamabo Batsheva. And Misha Berach is found on page 371. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor Abracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Shebena Imotenu Mekor Abracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. I ask God's blessing to bring healing to all of us who could all use a little bit of healing today. And we continue on page 586 with Aleinu. It starts at the bottom of the page and then goes over several pages. Shehuno Teshamayim is on the next page, and so on. Okay? And Marley's going to lead us. Aleinu Leshabeh. No? Aleinu Leshabeh. Don HaKol. לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, ושכינתו זו, וגם כן ברומי. הוא אלוהינו, אינו, אמת מלכנו, אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, בדעת הים, והשבותה אל לבביך. כי אדוני הוא אלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אינו, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad. Ushemo, 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 Echad. And we're going to say the mourner's Kaddish tonight. I'm going to read the yard sites not only for tonight, but also for the 21st, since we're not going to be here on the 21st. And we call to mind at this time those we remember tonight on their anniversary of their passing, as well as those who we have lost in recent months. And that would include for the 14th, Zena Schwartz, Stephen Abrams, and for the 21st, Ruth Fishman and Judy Hess. And then we have Lorinda Bray, Scott Fringwelski, Eliana Gleinert, Evelyn Dreyfus, Rosalie Hutter, Alfred Hutter, Seiko Mitchell, Leona Zolman, Fran Bernstein, Joel Sussman, Gerald Rosenfeld, Heather Donahue, Ron Shankman, Ron Caden, Ronald Ross, Raymond Dreyfus, Elsie Noodleman, Jacqueline Estero, and Milton Estero, Matthew Sapper, Andre Lett, Father Charles Mitchell, Bunny Englander, Honey Sampson, Karen Sund, Sarah Hanley, Shauna Schwartzman, Wendy Weinstein, and Eleonora Groisman. Our mourner's Kaddish is found on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hiruteh ve'amlich malachuteh. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpo'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha brichu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, Gamiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, Amen. And you may be seated as soon as Marley has closed. And we will have the priestly blessing and our final hymn. The priestly blessing is found on page 603. You know, the other day, someone said to me after a service that I had led, oh, that priestly blessing sounds just like what my priest says. You must have gotten it from the church. I said, well, here's a secret that you would like to know. And I told her about how it's the priestly blessing because the high priest in the desert was taught this blessing to say, and the first one who said it was Aaron, the brother of Moses. And that's why it's called the priestly blessing, because he was the high priest. Okay, so she didn't believe me. So I said, Google it. And she did, and called me later and said, I can't believe it. Why didn't my priest tell me that? I thought it was called the priestly blessing because our priest says it. So there you go. Thought you'd like to know that. May God bless you and keep you. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Yehi ratzo. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunek Ken yehi ratzon. And may you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. Yisa Adonai panav elecha, ve'asem lecha shalom. Ken yehi ratzon. Ose shalom.
Pleasure of doing it with Miss Ziggy.
Ose shalom bimroma. Uya ase shalom aleinu. Ve'al Imru amen. Yase shalom. Yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Yase shalom. Yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Yase shalom. Yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Yase shalom. Yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Shabbat shalom.